Welcome back everyone. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Dark717. I want to thank everyone for joining me as we take a look at the updated news and information for the Star Citizen universe. And of course, we've been on hiatus for the last couple weeks as the holidays have been going on. But we have now returned and we'll be going over a number of items that has happened since the last report. Before we do get into all of the new information, if you appreciate or like these updates, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button, as it really helps get the videos out to other people. And to anyone that's already subscribed, I definitely say thank you. Patch 3.18 launched on the 19th of December to Wave 1 backers. So this of course means concierge and subscribers all have access. We were made aware well ahead of time that the patch was going to be in need of additional and longer term testing. The reason for this is not only the number of things being introduced with it, but also the nature of what was being introduced. Billed as a basic rebuilding of the base of Star Citizen gameplay due to features such as PES or persistent entity streaming, the Gen 12 renderer, as well as the first instances of server meshing and the use of the shard system. These three items by themselves would require an extended amount of testing, but on top of that, we're also seeing numerous small and large gameplay features coming along with patch 3.18. Now this is actually going to include the salvaging, the platform assault on Orison, as well as security post-Korea reactivation, the new courier delivery missions, sandbox prison activities, the new Drake Vulture sand caves, the Daymar crash sites with the 600i and the MSR, of course the new racetracks around Stanton, the Grey Cat PTV racetrack out on Orison, new rivers consisting of 40 new rivers throughout Hurston and Microtech, as well as additional derelict outposts and a revamp to the restricted areas, and of course Arena Commander quality of life updates. These features also on their own would constitute a large major patch, so to say 3.18 is ambitious is an understatement. 3.18 PTU Wave 1 launched on the 19th of December as we mentioned, and with daily updates and new patches released nearly every afternoon up until CIG departed for the holiday break. Where does that leave us as far as the state of the PTU currently? As far as its gameplay, its playable features, stability, ongoing bugs, and where does it go from here, and what should we expect? Patch 3.18 currently is not perfect by any means, but also it is not the most buggy PTU we've experienced. As for what it brings with it as far as features and new technology, I, as well as many other people I know, see the PTU as running much smoother than what we actually expected. To be fair, if the issues going on now were experienced during any other PTU without all the back-end upgrades, there would be a much larger backlash about the performance. But as stated previously, there have been many issues and bugs seen in the time from the launch till CIG went on break, but we had almost daily PTU pushes to address them. Currently working off the last build, which was 3.18.0 Tango, the list of known issues has dwindled. Some of the known issues consist of the vehicle management application and ship components, and when attempting to make a large number of modifications in a single use to save changes to a vehicle, the button will actually disappear. A retrieved ship can be delivered to a docking port, but it will be missing its collision. Items appear not to be removed from the player's inventory when they sell them or hand them to a contraband kiosk. One that we've actually experienced ourselves is out on Daymar. Walking on the hills near Whistler's Crypt can actually kill you or incapacitate you unexpectedly. Inventory is still suffering throughout the PTU, and you can actually lose items when you die in an armistice zone to not being able to load your inventory at all. Scanning is not showing advanced statistics and details. Multiple locations, the elevators are absolutely just tearing people apart. The Constellation series does not spawn in with its snub fighter when summoned from the ASOP terminal. We're also seeing that the Reclaimer has no rear elevator interaction, but it can be activated from inside the ship if you take the front elevator up. Hitbox desync vehicles are not taking damage when attacked at certain parts of the hull. And of course, the vehicle HUD is possible for it to have vanish for the player during flight and combat. And of course, the multi-tool variant display healing info regardless of the attachments that are connected to it. So this is a much shorter list than the initial PTU notes that we received since its launch on the 19th. These aren't all the known issues that are occurring. With a post by Ice Wave on Spectrum, a list of common workarounds to other issues that have been reported to the issue console and is commonly occurring to a large number of players is available. That has workarounds for these items is in the description. But the post does contain workarounds for issues such as falling through elevators at spawn locations, very long loading screens stuck at 20,000 entities, character unstowed error, no MFDs or they appear black, stuck in a seat or unable to exit a seat, inventory failing to load, ship stuck in transferring to storage on the ASOP, ship remains impounded after paying your fines at the kiosk, ship terminal list does not display merchandise, and of course ship falls through the floor when it's retrieved. I would definitely recommend checking out that post for any of the number of known issues that you're actually experiencing, as the workarounds do seem to work in the majority of the cases. Now, CIG will be returning soon from break, and the word has it that they already have the beginnings of a patch that will address a number of these occurring issues. So it will be interesting to see when we get the first new release to the PTU upon their return. Outside of this, the gameplay in the PTU has been exciting. Salvaging is relaxing and very reminiscent of the feeling when mining. From the gameplay, it feels that this will become a lucrative source of AUEC as well. The changes to Klesher and SPK are a blast, and even though there are still portions that we need to test out, we have seen that this has become a great improvement. We have seen PES at work, and many creators are even posting videos showing the ability to get back onto the same shard they were on hours before, and they can still find items that they set down in different locations that are still persistent within the universe much later in the day or the next day. It is, of course, exciting to see these new features working. On top of that, in the PTU, they've implemented a way to change the way the Gen 12 renderer is working. The ability to toggle the renderer as you need using the R_Gen 12 with a modifier of 0, 1, or 2, 0 being legacy rendering, 1 being Gen 12 hybrid, same as what we see in 3.17, and 3 being full Gen 12 rendering. By default, the PTU is always going to load in on option 3 with the full Gen 12 rendering. The link is in the description to the Reddit post announcing this and the commands themselves. 3.18, even though buggy, is operating much better than I personally was expecting, and I'm looking forward to the next patch update to the PTU to see what they've corrected. I would say that the size of 3.18 and the immense amount of features in it, I would expect that we'll see 2 to 3 more weeks of Wave 1 before opening it to all backers, but possibly an end of January or beginning of February release to live. This, of course, depended on the progression and the stability of the testing builds. But it is all exciting, and 3.18 is definitely going to be a milestone patch for Star Citizen. Outside of the PTU, we did have the Luminalia celebration this year, a great set of 12 days of Luminalia gifts, all for the most part being useful in game, with a variety of clothes and flight suits that are holiday themed, ship paints for the Nomad, the Origin 100 series, and of course the Avenger series. We also saw a group of weapons that included guns and knives, and also got a Pico and a Finley, as well as a Luminalia Sexton. It was a great celebration, but keep in mind through the 10th of January, you can still go get any of these gifts or the ones that you missed over the 12 days just by visiting the RSI website. On top of that, the referral bonus continues till the 10th of January, in which using the referral code, you can receive an Argo Cargo MPUV on top of the 5,000 AUEC you receive when you join the verse. Currently, right now, they are also running a Jumptown 2.0 through the 3rd of January in preparation for the new upcoming Jumptown 2.1. This comes with sales open on ships like the MSR, the C2, the Redeemer, the Cutlass Steel, and more. Jumptown 2.1 is slated to make its debut in late January with a larger map and more coming to the dynamic event. On the lore side, we did see the Galactopedia update get released, and for subscribers, the latest issue of the Jump Point digital magazine. This is going to be filled with articles consisting of a behind-the-scenes look at the lighting in the game and using lighting to really create the atmosphere that we see in game, followed by a behind-the-scenes on the concepting of the Crusader Spirit series, and then a 10-year retrospective on the Jump Point digital magazine itself, and it finished up with a lore story 34,000 beats. This goes into the reasons why the Glow Festival, or what we call Luminalia, lasts for 34,000 beats. As Banu are vague in their answers, it is found that it may just come down to a human influence factor that brought this about. It is a quick and fun read that tells the lore of Luminalia, and I definitely recommend checking it out if you have that access. And finally, we received the letter from the chairman. This is a yearly summarization of where Star Citizen is and Chris Roberts' view and the way to state his appreciation and thanks to the community. He starts off with giving his thanks to the community and goes into talking about accomplishments this past year, with PES being a major addition with 3.18. Though he does state that they did not get it to go live in 2022, but it is in PTU currently. But he touches base on what PES will allow and the fact that it will add to the immersiveness of the game, also giving examples of what we'll be able to see because of this in the verse. And currently in PTU, we've seen exactly what he talks about, although it is dependent on returning to the same shard where you left something. He also touches base on the importance of the community, not only for funding, but also ideas that contribute to the verse, specifically using the new racetracks across Stanton. Of course, this started with the snake pit out on Clio, but has since expanded across the different areas throughout Stanton to really create an entirely new mission type and gameplay in an organized and rewardable manner. CIG working closely with XGR, we have seen what the positive side of their interactions and working closely with the community can create. This kind of collaboration also shows its merits with things much like the Daymar Rally and of course the Hearst and Hurt Locker also. Chris Roberts also speaks about the changes as 3.17.2 is brought about due to the increase of time needed for 3.18 and the inclusion of the STV, as well as the increase in the server caps. The addition of the Asian region servers was also another key highlight that he pointed out in events like Invictus, Ninetales Lockdown, and Siege of Orison. This all leads into going through the details of another record year of growth with new players and fundraising, also touching base on the Bar Citizen World Tour and new studios that have been built in both Frankfurt as well as Manchester. This of course then brings us back around to patch 3.18 and the new additions that it brings to the verse. After this, he moves into the road to 4.0. Chris Roberts starting off speculating that this will be the biggest year ever in 2023. Going into some details as to the purpose and abilities of server meshing and the effects that it'll have on the game, stating that the goal is to reach the server meshing in 2023, and by doing so bring the system closer to the ability to open up servers to tens of thousands of players and AI. Though we know that CIG really has stressed the need for flexibility and refrained from naming dates for releases, Chris Roberts does mention a couple of time goals through the letter, including patch 3.18 moving to live this month, though it does still need work, and of course Q4 for Pyro and static server meshing. As those who follow Star Citizen closely know or should be aware that these estimates really need to be taken with a grain of salt, as historically CIG meeting anticipated dates has not been their strong suit, so be aware I would not count on these items being set in stone by any means, but it will eventually arrive. And as stated by Chris Roberts, this as well as more features like the resource management, changes to the bounty hunting, persistent hangars, a new star map, and new backend services and tech to support the universe, and a whole lot more are slated for 2023. I would recommend checking out the letter from the chairman, and the link is going to be in the description. With the holiday season, we have seen that the Inside Star Citizen and Star Citizen Live are on hiatus, but will be returning soon in the new year. Though with patch 3.18 in PTU, there is still plenty of new information out there. But this about wraps up the update as 2022 is closed out and a new year 2023, or as in the verses known, 2953, has started. From all of us here at AmroxFang.org and the channel and the stream, we would like to thank everyone out there for all of your support with the group, and we appreciate everything and everybody that is here. Without the viewers and the subscribers, none of this would be possible, and we'd like to just say thank you. And also to you and all your families, we wish you the best this holiday season and hope everyone has an amazing 2953, and we hope to see you in the verse.